Hi everybody, this is Kevin and welcome back to another anime review. And today I'll be sharing my thoughts on the anime film The End of Evangelion, which released in 1997 and really is the sequel to the TV series Neon Genesis Evangelion and serves as a retelling of episodes 25 and 26, which if you're familiar with the series at all, you've seen it, you know that those last two episodes are a little bit controversial because, well, they ran out of money towards the end of the series and had to give us those last two episodes. So fans were pretty unhappy, and so a few years later, Anno eventually came out with this movie, and after watching this movie, fans are even more unhappy. So anyway, I got my the Blu-ray box set, which I did my rewatch of the series. Last week I reviewed the movie Death True Square, which I didn't really care for just because it's just like a schizophrenic retelling of the initial series. But I mean, the initial series is fantastic. After rewatching the initial series, and you can refer back to my review, I actually kind of liked the final two episodes just because it's been so long since I've seen it, and it had more of an optimistic outlook on the series, whereas with this, the end of Evangelion, it's like, holy shit, dude. And then eventually, next week we'll be reviewing the Rebuild movies. Of course, I have the three of them, because the fourth one is never going to see a physical release, because those goddamn snakes with Amazon own it, but that's another topic. But anyway, if you haven't seen the series or the movie, spoilers, I'm going to talk about everything, because you really can't even talk about this film without talking about spoilers. And, like I said, it takes off right after episode 24, and in that episode, that Shinji kills Kaoru, and that's exactly what happened. Shinji's there, all depressed, because, he just met this kid, Kaoru, who is very friendly to him, and of course we learned that he was actually an angel. And prior to all that, a lot of shit went down in the fact that Asuka was unable to sync with her Eva unit, and so she's been in the hospital for a few episodes now leading up to the movie, and she's not unconscious, but she's in the hospital. And the first scene after Shinji leaves, he leaves the area where he first met Kaoru and he goes to the hospital. And I mentioned in my review of the series that I thought, there's obviously the religious references there, right? But Anno has said that, they don't really mean anything. They're just there because, they look cool, right? But watching this movie, the religious references are off the charts. The occult references are off the charts. You got Freemasonry, you got everything. And it starts right away going to Asuka's hospital room, and her room number is 303, and of course, the number 33, that's what I thought of right away. And so Shinji goes into her room, and like I said, she's not unconscious, but she's lying in bed. A few episodes prior to this, she was in the bathtub, she was going to kill herself, so they admitted her to the hospital, and there she is, and he's like shaking her, like, wake up, Asuka, wake up, and, he shakes her, she moves, and she's wearing like a buttoned shirt, and the shirt becomes unbuttoned, and, well, they just come flying out. And it's like extremely fucked up scene to start the film. But what happens is it cuts to the door, right? And then the door says locked. It's like almost like you're in an airplane, one of those doors that say like occupied or whatever, but it says locked. And then all of a sudden, you hear like Shinji grunting and moaning, and then all of a sudden it cuts to his hand with, some stuff on his hand, and he says, "I'm so fucked up." And it's like, what the fuck, dude? You just jerked off to an unconscious chick? My goodness. That's how you're going to start the film? And that's like the infamous scene. It's like, holy fucking shit. What if you're, obviously Neon Genesis Evangelion is pretty, it's not really meant for kids. But like watching this, like what if you're a kid watching this with your parents and that's the first fucking scene? That's what I thought of. Like I remember watching this back in the day, I like rented the DVD and I watch it by myself, and I'm like, what the hell's going on? So anyway, after all that, it cuts over to Seilei, who is communicating with Gendo Ikari, and of course their whole plan is to instigate the Human Instrumentality Project, which is basically to kill all human life to atone for their sins and become one. It's crazy, man. So Gendo's like, oh, it shall be done, whatever. And so what happens is Seilei launches the JSSDF, which is essentially like the UN army after them. And they start by hacking into the Magi system to hack into their computers to get to Central Dogma, where they're holding Lilith, the first, or the second angel rather, because Adam's the first angel. And they're holding that down in Central Dogma, down in the basement of Nerve. And when they're hacking it, so they have Ritsuko locked up in the prison because, a few episodes ago, she actually destroyed all the Rey clones. Like Rey you learn more in the movie, but Rei essentially is the clone of Yui Ikari, Gendo's wife and Shinji's mother. And the current iteration of Rei that we're at is Rei the third, but there's a million other clones of her, and Ritsuka, killed them all. And so they let her out of the cell, and they're like, Ritsuka, you got to get into the firewall and stop Seele and the JSSDF from hacking in. And they're able to convert it to save the Magi system. And then it cuts over to Seele, and here's again like the religious occult references. And the guy from Seele, Keel, he's like the head guy. Darn it, they put a password 666 firewall in the Magi. It's like 666. Are you kidding me, bro? So then what they decide to do is send in all the cavalry, and they send like all these ships and bombers and all these, soldiers in to get into Nerve to basically get Ava Unit 1 and to secure Lilith so that they can cause human instrumentality. And then, it's all over the place, man. It cuts to Misato, who also learned a bunch of revelations about what's really going on because, Kaji was killed by Seele because he was catching on. He was like an inside agent working with Nerve to learn more about Seele, and they killed him. And he left a voicemail to Misato and was like, you gotta solve this, save humanity. So Misato gets there and is like, all right, well, we gotta figure out what's going on. Call the kids, Asuka's in the hospital, we know that. Where's Shinji, where's Rei? And they're like, well, we can't find either of them. And what she decides to do is send Asuka into Ava Unit 2 and submerge it in the ocean because, she's unconscious. If they find her, they'll kill her. So she's in Ava Unit 2, then at least she'll be safe. She got the AT field to protect her. And then they're looking at all the cameras and they find Shinji and he's just curled up in a little ball hiding underneath a staircase. And it's like, oh my God. And so Misato says, I got to go save Shinji and then got to go find what's going on with Rei. And then Gendo leaves. And he's like, Yutsuki, it's under your control now. And he's like, oh, my regards to Yui, Commander. Because he knows everyone's going to die. He's like, my regards to Yui. And Yutsuki, I didn't really talk much about him in the review because there's just so much to talk about. But he's a great character, man. And like, just his one-liners he has in this movie, too. We'll get to that when we get to it. But he has some good one-liners here, and that one in particular. But, Gendo makes his way down to Central Dogma to find Rei so that they, because what happened is Gendo actually became one with Adam, has the soul of Adam with him, and so wants to merge with Rei, who's going to merge with Lilith, and, it's all this crazy shit going on. So there's this crazy-ass battle, and what happens is Misato's racing through, gets to Shinji, and really has a great heart-to-heart with Shinji, where Shinji just doesn't want to go on. Well, before that, really, he's hiding under the staircase, right? And they're ready to kill him. And then Misato comes out of nowhere, and she's like, bam, bam, shoots them all. Shoots all the guys and saves the day. And like, drags him and is like, come on, Shinji. And Shinji's like, I killed Karu. I hurt Asuka. I did horrible things. And like, sulking. And rightfully so. I mean, Shinji did some fucked up things, what he did just do with Asuka in the beginning of the film. But with Karu basically let Shinji kill him because he knew that if he was alive, he'd caused third impact. So that was Karu, helping Shinji. But Shinji... Oh, and also with Toji. How can we forget that? With Toji. Almost killing Toji. Toji's still alive, mind you, for now. But... God damn, it's windy out there. It sounds like the angels are howling in the wind. I don't know if you got that caught on the camera, but... Or the microphone, rather. But anyway. So, a great moment where Shinji's like, you're not me! And then Misato retorts back, so fucking what that I'm not you? And it's so badass, man. And then there's actually a scene where like, she slaps him. And then she like, starts making out with him. And she's like, that was a grown-up kiss. We'll do the rest later. And then sends him on his way, puts him in the elevator to get to Unit 1. And she actually gets shot in the back and ends up dying. So, really terrible stuff there with Misato. And right before that, she says, Kaji, did I do the right thing? And, the room that she's in is about to explode, and it's a really fucking creepy imagery where right before the room explodes, like a ghost of Rei appears, and then you see, if you really slow it down, Misato is blown up in two. It's like, what the fuck? So eventually they're all getting attacked, and they know that Unit 2 is down in the water, so the JSSDF starts bombing Unit 2, and you see Asuka, she's in like the fetal position, and you hear it for like a solid 2 minutes. She starts like really quietly, I don't want to die, 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 I don't want to die. And it gets louder and louder, I don't want to die. And then as she's saying that, her mother, who is the soul, her soul is in Unit 2, her mother starts saying, you're not alone, I'm here with you, Asuka. And then, it starts, like, comforting. Like, you're not alone. I'm with you, Asuka. And then she says, die with me, Asuka. And it's, like, really fucked up. And then it keeps going on for, like I said, a solid 2 minutes. And then you see the scene where, like, the corpse of Asuka with, like, worms crawling into her skull. And then she lets out this harrowing, I don't want to die! And then you get, like, the like, choir music almost, and a cross in the sky as Unit 2 triumphantly goes up into the sky. I still have my mother! I have my AT field! And Asuka starts beating the shit out of all the JSSDF, planes and whatnot. Just an epic scene. And it's just fantastic. And then my favorite scene in the whole film is her battle with the mass-produced Evas, which I'm going to show you right here, actually, because I have a few things I want to show you. Not really going to show you the clips, but what I am going to show you is the names of these videos that you guys can search, and of course watch the fucking movie. But if you just want to see like some good action scenes, you got to watch this. This is, in my opinion, the best part of the whole movie right here. It's 19 minutes. Asuka versus the Eva series, the mass-produced Evas. Look at her face right there. 19 minutes. Go watch that. You want to watch this. Of course, this is the end, the third impact. And then this I want to mention as well. I heard about this watching a bunch of reviews after watching my initial review of the series. And it is fucked up, man. This is the DVD menu of Death and Rebirth and the end of Evangelion. And it's just got like some fucked up images here. If you want to search this up, like, see, I'm just showing you the little highlights down there. I don't want to play the whole thing because I'm not really sure about the whole copyright issue. Like, I can play music, but I don't know if I can play these things. But it's like, it's really fucked up. Oh, that too. So it shows you like the spines. Yeah, what the Evas are, and this is what Masato explains to Shinji as well. What the Evas are is that they're modified angels, and it's like they show like all the skulls and like the spinal cords of them, and it's like, holy shit, all the crazy ass experiments they did. So Sele deploys the mass-produced Evas, and before that they actually cut off Asuka's umbilical cable. Like, they had the power supply, and then once the cable gets cut, they got 5 minutes of battery reserve. So they send in the mass-produced Evas, which I have a bunch of pictures I'll share with you, but like I said, if you've seen the series, you know. And these things, look at them, and they're flying, they look like fucking angels. They have like smirks. You see like the map, they got like smirks, and oh my god, they disappear. They're like making these creepy ass grunting sounds, like, "Rrr." And I think there's 9 of them, and they all come there ready to face Asuka, and she's like, oh, I got plenty of time, 20 seconds to spare. So she starts going crazy. The first one that she grabs, she like grabs the fucker and rips the thing in half, and you see the blood on top of the window of Eva Unit 2, and you just look at her face like, and she's like all like smiling about it, like having a great time. Like, it gets like I got all these pictures of her, gets these crazy ass looks about it. And she's doing well. She's putting up her own. She's taking them all out. And throughout the whole thing, Shinji is right there with Unit 1, but refuses to get in because, he's like, oh, I don't know. I shouldn't do it. I can't do it. And he hears Asuka saying the whole time, I have my mother. We have the AT field. And she's doing so well. And what happens is, out of nowhere, that you saw before that they were holding these things, right? These turn out to be the lance of Longinus, right? That Rey threw into space at the end of one of the episodes there, the original one, and these are all replicas. And one of them throws it at Asuka at the end there, but her AT field can't block it because it's a lance of Longinus, and so it hits her in the eye, and you see she's holding her hand there, because when it hits your Eva, you feel the pain internally. So she's missing the eye, and then she pulls out her hand like that, and she starts going, I'll kill you, I'll kill you, I'll kill you. And then her hand like breaks in half, and all the Evas come back to life. All the ones that she killed, they all come back to life, and they all throw their lances at her, and then they just eat her. You see like the blood and guts pouring everywhere. It's oh my god, it's insane. And I gotta say, the animation in this, for a film that came out in 1997, holds up extremely well. I just finished rewatching the Rebuild movies, which I'll get to eventually. But the Rebuild movies, the first one came out in 2007. Then I think the second one in 2009. The third one in 2011 or 12. And then the fourth one recently in 2021. And it's funny because they use CGI in all of them. And they get progressively worse and worse, with the fourth one having the worst CGI. Whereas the one in 2007 had pretty okay CGI. But the animation looks incredible. It is really quite fantastic. And so what happens is Asuka dies. And when Asuka dies, because you have all the people in Nerve, watching them. The guy with the long hair, the chick, I think her name was Maya. Forgive me if I forget all their names. And then the other dude with the glasses. And the chick, Maya, she's like, oh God, no, Asuka, she's dead. And Shinji mutters to himself, I can't get to heaven. And it's like, holy shit. And then just as that happens, Ava Unit 1 activates on its own and grabs Shinji and tells him to get in there. So what happens is Shinji gets up and gets into the Ava, and he's like looking like all like depressed. And then he sees it, and he sees Ava Unit 2, its brain falling out, its eyes falling out, its blood and guts everywhere. And he lets out this scream, dude. It's like, holy shit, dude. So fucked up. And then you get the credits, because there's an intermission in this film. They title the episodes. The first one, it says like it's episode 25, Love is Destructive, and then episode 26, I Need You. So yeah, it's a two-parter. And then after it ends there, Shinji's all fucked up, and all the Avas are going insane. And then all of a sudden, the original Lance of Longinus, which is in space, just comes back to Earth because of Ava Unit 1 acting all crazy. And this is why I said with Fuyutsuki, with all the one-liners, and he goes, good God, the Lance of Longinus returns at last. Just the way he says it is great. But it returns, and it turns Shinji into a cross. It like envelops him, turns him into a cross, and then all the mass-produced Avas come together to form like an inverted tree of life. And then it cuts over to Seilei, to Keel, and he's like, let the sacrament begin. It's like, what the fuck? And then all the while, Gendo's in Central Dogma, and you got Lilith, the fucked up looking, not android, what am I saying, android, angel. For all we know, it is an android. It's up there, and then you get these, like, all the sexual attention, man, from the very first scene, but Ray's naked, and he's like, come, Ray, we must merge together, and like, he grabs her right in her chest, and, like, brings his hand down, and Ray's like, no, Ikari's calling me, So, Ray decides to merge with Lilith, and before that, Ritsuko's there, and she's like, I'm gonna blow the whole place up, and she has like a self-destruct button connected to the Magi, but the button's not working. And then Gendo, actually, right before he kills her, he says, the truth is, and then you see his lips move. I don't know what the hell he even says. If anyone has a theory as to what he says, please leave a comment. But, he shoots her, and then, Ray refuses to merge with him, goes merge with Lilith, and leaves Gendo there and cuts his fucking hand off. So Gendo's there without a limb, and she's merged with Lilith, to which, she becomes the giant Ray, which we've all seen. I can't show it because, there's some titty action there. And this creepy looking fucking thing. And so it comes out there towards Shinji. And Shinji's like, screaming like a man because he sees giant Ray. And then, this is a fucked up scene too, because then it turns into Karu, right? There's like two of them. And it's sort of like the religious, like, yin and yang sort of thing where Adam and Eve? I don't know. I'm not really too religious, to be honest with you guys, but like that's the vibe I get from it. It's like Jewish mysticism with the Kabbalah, if I'm not mistaken. Just reading into it a little bit, and I was watching some videos before this review, but it's like the first man was known as Adam, I believe. Yeah. So, he turns to Karu, and Shinji's more welcoming of that, and there's all these like trippy ass scenes, all these philosophical scenes, and that's where the third impact takes place. And that's when everyone turns into the primordial soup, the LCL, and everyone starts dying. And right before everyone dies, they like see someone that they love. Like, for instance, the guy with the glasses and Nerve sees Misato and starts making out with him. And then you just hear like a pop, pop, and he pops and he turns into like the orange soup. And same thing with Maya. She actually sees Ritsuko, and the two of them hug. And then Gendo sees Yui, Karu, and Ray, and they all have a talk with him. And what happens is Yui turns into Ava Unit 1 in the Berserk mode, and fucking everyone else turned into primordial soup, but bites Gendo's head off. It's like fucked up, dude. And also, Fuyutsuki sees Yui in her true form. He's like, "Oh, it's a pleasure to meet." Yeah, no, he says, "Gendo, I hope you got to see Yui as well." And then he vanishes. And then you see like the whole planet Earth. All these crosses appear on all planet Earth, and then it all turns red. The blood, all the death, and then they're in space, and all the mass-produced Evas grow Rey's face. And like I said, they all have the replica lance of Longinus, and they all grab it and put it into their heart. And as they're doing it, they let out like this sexual moan, again, with all the sexual tension. And it's like, holy fucking shit. I remember watching, I think I was like 12 years old when I first saw this. I was like all fucked up. I love the Asuka fight. That was pretty badass. But everything else, I was fucked up after watching this. And watching it again all these years later, I'm still fucked up. So there's these scenes too of Shinji just sort of in his dreams. First he sees like a young like himself playing sandcastle with the other kids, and a creepy scene with the swing set moving back and forth, and then the kids are going home to their parents, and that's what it all comes down to. I mean, Shinji's all fucked up because of the way he grew up, and what happened too was Yui was one of the ones working on the Evas way back when, and that's how she died initially, because she became Eva Unit 1. Her soul got infused in it. And he has this scene too with Asuka, where they're back at Misato's house, and Asuka's going at him like, "I know about your jerk off fantasies. You never helped me once. You never cared about me. You never liked me. You never this, that." And then what happens is Shinji snaps, and he starts like choking her, and that's referenced to later scene in the film here. But he starts choking her, and then what happens after all these trippy ass scenes? He wakes up in the Red Sea in the primordial suit, which is really it was orange in the beginning, but it looks like red with blood now. And you see like the Eva units, the mass-produced Evas, which are all like crosses now, missing their heads, of course. And then he sees his mother, says a few words to him, and then Rey, and Rey basically says, you instigated a human instrumentality project, and Shinji's like, well, what about everyone else? It's like, well, if they will themselves to be, then they will be. But that was Seilei's whole plan, was they wanted to like rid the world of the past sins and create one being, which if you're that bent out of shape, Seilei, just kill yourself and let the people who want to live, right? And the same thing with Gendo. It's like, you want to see your wife so bad, kill yourself, go to heaven if you believe in such a thing, and all is right in the world. And that's the thing too. So Nerve, the Nerve logo, I don't know if you can read that. God's in his heaven, all is right in the world. Like everything. It's just so crazy, man. So the scene ends, Shinji's on the beach, and he turns and he sees Asuka there, and Asuka's all bandaged up with her wounds that she suffered in the battle, covering the eye, and then with her arm all taped up. And Shinji gets all pissed off, and he starts choking her, right? And then what Asuka does is she gently touches his face and like rubs his face like that, and Shinji stops. And the final words of the film is, "How disgusting." That's what Asuka says. So, that's why they made the rebuilds. Like I said, we'll get to the rebuilds. I think they're a sequel, just because based on how the characters act and certain things and certain things they say. Other people view them as a whole new timeline or a whole new telling of the series. But just based on what happened here, and based on how even the first rebuild movie starts, I do think it's a sequel. But this is a cinematic masterpiece. It looks beautiful. The story is pretty fucked up. You may have to watch it twice to fully understand what's going on, and watch complimentary videos. Probably a better video than mine that goes in depth of all the religious themes and whatnot. But I did catch on to some of the references like 33 and 666, and of course you had the inverted tree of life and things of that nature. But yeah, it's a fantastic movie. I think it's great. Some people, I mean, even still, like, people didn't like this ending just because of how it ended, but just like watching it, I could imagine, like, I don't do drugs or anything, but I could imagine if you're like taking mushrooms or DMT or even smoking pot, like, this movie's got to be even crazier. So yeah, I mean, I don't know, man. I highly recommend it. You definitely have to watch the series though to like get what's going on here. You can watch this just for watching the cool visuals. But to fully understand what's going on, you should watch the series. But yeah, I highly recommend Neon Genesis Evangelion. This is still available. This is expensive. This is like $170. The other Blu-ray is just a Netflix dub, and that's like $40. You can find all this online though. And we'll be getting to the rebuild movies, which I finished rewatching these. I like them all. My favorite's probably the second one. The first one's good. The third one, I always hated the third one. But after rewatching it, I kind of like it. The fourth one, though, I mean, that's like a weird one. We'll get to that all eventually. And, well, thank you all for watching, guys. This is kind of a long video. Let me know your thought in the comments down below. Stay tuned. I think Monday is going to be my day. I upload my Ava videos until that's finished. And otherwise, got all sorts of other cool stuff this week. So let me know what you think down below. And have a great day, everybody. See you next time.